Hello, everyone, and welcome to the series premiere of Star Trek Mercury, a Star Trek Adventures 2nd Edition game using the rules by Modifius Entertainment. My name is ELH, the Game Master, and joining me are four lovely individuals who will meet right away because I am eager to begin this series premiere. So we will go down the line. If you can introduce yourself, introduce your character, and anything you want to shout out, and we'll start with Adcon.
Hi, everybody. My name is Adcon. It's an honor to be playing the role of Commander Kovat Paden, your friendly neighborhood Cardassian.
All right, Joggy Wogga, what do you got going on?
Hello, hello. I'm coming in with Lieutenant Commander Jensar Ebsen, a Betazoid engineer and pilot. Has fun flying a little bit too fast because nothing like going on a thrill ride and being an adrenaline junkie when you can tell exactly how everyone else is reacting.
Love it. Love it. Forever GM, what do you got going on?
Hello there, I'm Forever GM. I'm going to be playing Lieutenant Commander Arthur Stafford, the resident science officer. When he's not busy doing some weird science experiment or reading up on some esoteric bit of historical lore, you'll probably find him on the holodeck doing something or other.
Okay. And last but not least, Logger.
Hi there, Logger here. Be playing Lieutenant Commander Rad Ram, a bully and security officer who always has a warm smile to let you know he's glad to see you and a firm handshake to let you know he'll be watching you.
Love it. Love it. In fact, add firm handshake to your traits if you don't have one already.
There we go.
All right. Well, normally I would have the players do an opening log, but since this is such a unique game of Star Trek Adventures 2nd Edition, we're going to start in Meteor Race. So I'd like to set the scene that we are at the Antari shipyards. The Antari shipyards are the rival to Mars, Utopia Planitia. And as the name and title suggest, it is a various cornucopia is how I would say it. It's a cornucopia of technology, of material forges, and just star docks filled with half-complete ships, filled with shuttles going this way and that way, taking supplies where they need to go. We see multiple people in EV suits doing spot welds, but the cradle we focus on is actually containing the U.S.S. Mercury herself, the very first prototype transwarp vessel of the Cheyenne II class. Now, eventually we'll have an introductory video from Techno Nerd and you can see it firsthand, but for the time being, I'd like you all to imagine basically an arrowhead that has a sloping underside, sort of like a Sovereign class, and then instead of having a secondary hull, it just sort of terminates at kind of a slope, and there are four nacelles at kind of like a claw around the primary hull. It's a very sleek-looking vessel, very small, only scale 3, but overall, it looks like it could take a beating and then some. But what we do is we zoom in through the main bridge, and we see a smallish bridge, very similar to a Defiant class, where, you know, you kind of have a few stations up front, a little bit of room, captain's chair, and then a little bit behind them. But then we move into the main conference room, which is right off the bridge, and it is very similar to Voyagers or an Intrepid class, where you could fit maybe 7 or 8 people in here pretty comfortably. And at the moment, it is the 4 of you plus a older Andorian male. Now, this Andorian is Fleet Admiral Tal Shakal, and he is in charge of the Transwarp project. And we begin the session with him saying, "Well, ladies and gentlemen and non-binaries and everything in between, I cannot understate how important the Mercury's mission is going to be. You will be quite literally laying down the road for every other vessel in the Federation to follow. It is going to be your job to literally go through transwarp space to the hubs we have been building, bring those hubs onto the network, and then create a trail to another transwarp hub. The Mercury is uniquely qualified for this mission. You have the best transwarp coil we know how to produce. You have extremely experimental temporal shielding, and you have the most structural integrity field we can muster as well. Now, of course, this all sounds great on paper, but I do have to once again confirm that you all are willing to do this because within transwarp space, there's extreme gravimetric and temporal stresses, and for all we know, you could hit the go button and explode into 1,000 pieces. Transwarp is new for the Federation, but once it is solidified, we believe it will speed up not only response times, but also be able to provide a little bit of a smaller galaxy, if that makes any sense. But is there any questions before I turn the vessel over to your command? And he just sort of looks around the table to see if anybody has any questions.
Lieutenant Commander Jensar Ebsen's going to, casually raise a hand, and they've been really looking forward to this mission. This is very much in the wheelhouse of things they like. They have been reading the tech specs. They have been reading the specifications. Other people in the crew know they're usually not this excited during the briefing meeting. Like they're not. This is very much I'm excited. I'm paying attention. And so they raise their hand and they go. So I see specs about tolerance. Referring to rattles off some numbers about relating to transwarp, speed, shielding. What is the safety margin from the test pilots and the test runs where the failure actually happened? Obviously, we want to take good care of this, but I'm curious what sort of buffers have been built into these.
Well, if anything starts to go wrong and is not corrected within 2 minutes' time, that window can be reduced to 30 seconds or even 15 seconds, pilot's discretion. But if something does start to go wrong, the default state of the vessel is to drop out of transwarp space as soon as possible. And in the test runs, we had a 90% success rate. The 10% were thankfully unarmed vessels that were automated completely. But what happened to those automated vessels is that they were forcibly ejected from transwarp and suffered severe damage from all the, once again, gravimetric and temporal stresses.
Sounds like fun.
Means you have to pay very close attention to where you're going.
As should any pilot.
I do have a question, Admiral.
Go ahead.
Well, I understand that this is absolutely a historic occasion, and again, thank you for this. I am curious as to this the nature of this mission. If it would not be, if there were not to be more opportunities to prevent something going wrong by sending out a second ship to go along with us.
Well, that's the tricky part. We don't really have a transwarp vessel that is capable of traveling the distances you can. We can make momentary gaps into transwarp, but you all are once again unique in the fact that you create the corridor as you travel. Whereas before, the other vessels were forging that space on their own, if that makes any sense. Now, if you wish, we can send along a partnership that will follow in your wake, but it does require even fancier flying from them without a transwarp coil.
And that would be a needed risk. I understand.
I do have one question, Admiral. I understand that this being the prototype and everything, I assume that there hasn't been any form of proper shakedown run before this.
Well, you're in luck. The first thing you're going to do once I leave your vessel is conduct that shakedown run.
All right. That was not in the reading. That was all I was needing to know. Awesome. Thank you very much, Admiral. I appreciate being informed about this.
You're welcome. And then I think the Fleet Admiral turns to Lieutenant Commander Ram and says, well, Lieutenant Commander, anything from you?
Yes. Understandably, we will not be having a second ship following us in order to reduce the risk to other parties. But should we encounter any sort of an emergency situation, what would be the time scale that we could expect for reinforcements if necessary?
That is very dependent on where and when you drop out of the transwarp space. If you're close to one of our colonies or close to, say, Earth or here at Antari shipyards, we can get you rescued pretty quickly. But in the interim space, in the middle of the void, it is very possible that if you run into an issue there, it could be months before we get to you, even at high warp.
Understood. Commander, with your permission, then I'd like to spend some time before departure collating a list of contacts in the areas in order to make sure that we always have the closest person ready to call.
Sounds like a good idea.
Well, the good news is that once your shakedown is completed, your job is to go from the Antari shipyard to Earth spacedock. That way, you will be in the middle of the Federation, and if something goes wrong, we can get to you very quickly.
Understood. Good to hear.
Very well.
And then Admiral looks around and says, "All right, well, unless anyone has any other questions, I'm ready to turn over command to you, Commander."
Looking to everybody else. Any questions?
When can I
None
start
from
looking
me,
under
sir.
the hood?
All right, then. I would say to everyone, report to your stations.
All right. So before they all leave, the Admiral does the computer. Please relinquish command to Commander Paden. Authorization Thashakal Zulu 5 Delta 9. And then the computer says, "Command transfer to Commander Paden. Please enter command access code."
Command access code PDEN 9er Tango Alpha 5.
Command code accepted. Commander Paden now in command of U.S.S. Mercury. And, the Admiral sort of holds out a hand and says, "I stand relieved."
You are relieved, sir.
Very good.
Takes
Good
the
luck.
hand and shakes it. Thank you, Admiral.
And he shakes your hand very firmly. Maybe to test Lieutenant Commander Ram's trait, he shakes very, very firmly.
Ram shakes right back,
There you
steals
go.
himself.
Yeah, but he makes sure that everybody gets a firm handshake because he knows the danger he's asking you to do, so he makes it a point to shake everybody's hand. And then the Admiral departs. He beams away back to the gantry that is holding the Mercury. But, as the Admiral said, your job is, once you are content with your shakedown, to go from Antari shipyard to Earth. It's a journey of about 20 light years, if I have my maps correct. So, should be pretty quick, all things considered. Just a quick jump into transwarp, then a quick jump out. But first comes shakedown, of course.
Of course.
So yeah, what I would say is, Commander, since this is now your vessel, you decide what in order the shakedown continues.
Well, the first thing we're going to do is going to do one last personal check of every single ship system.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, I believe
I'm saying we've done it with the station crew. We've done it in simulations. I want us to be able to do our own systems check by ourselves.
Understood. So,
Yeah.
Lieutenant Commander Ebsen, this seems like the perfect role for you. And let me open up your character sheet here. This is going to be a reason engineering. You know your ship, so you get a free D20 here.
Yeah.
And then let me check the Mercury. The Mercury will assist you with a computers and engineering. So if someone wants to grab the Mercury. And as a reminder, the Mercury rolls one die, always has a focus. Ebsen, you definitely have a focus as well.
Yeah, so I was about to bring that up. I have at least two things that would apply here.
Mm-hmm.
And-
Difficulty of 1 on this one, and you already have a momentum from chat. And Caspian, I'm going to take that threat and just keep threat for the time being.
And what was the Mercury rolling again?
Computers
Their
and
combination?
engineering.
computers and engineering. 1 die roll.
Mm-hmm.
Using focus.
Yep. Well, the Mercury doesn't want
Ooh.
to help apparently, but at least it's not a complication.
It
Okay.
is a test bed, you know. This is why we're out here.
All right. So 2 dice plus focus.
3 because you have I know my ship.
Yeah. All right. Wait, make sure that's I've used focus. So I have to check anything else on that, or is that automatic?
As long as
Since
you
I'm
set
not...
it to 3 dice, you're good to go.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's going to color how the situation... Okay, hold on. We need to check talents here, because I feel like in the one shot we had something for this. Let me quickly check sheets here.
Yes, I think I do as well.
So that's if you fail. It was difficulty of 1, so you do take... Let me see. Ah, here it is. Maintenance Specialist. I knew you had something.
Ooh.
So here's what's going to happen, Ebson. As you start to do a level 1 diagnostic, you start to realize that very much like the Defiant class, at least everything you've ever read or heard about the Defiant class, is that the Defiant class has too big of a warp core for too small of a ship. It is putting out so much power that the ship would literally tear itself apart if it were not for enhanced structural integrity. So you're already dealing with a Defiant-like situation. But on top of that, you're also dealing with a transwarp coil, which puts even more of a stress on structural integrity. So when you go to check the numbers, you immediately think, oh shit, we're about to lose so much power and structural integrity. But then you realize that's the norm for this vessel, where on any other vessel, you would be at like 215% power to structural integrity right now. And you're just like, oh, okay. But everything else, from weapons, regular engines, impulse engines, thrusters, your shuttle bay, the graviton beam arrays, that all checks out. And you also get momentum for your trouble.
Excellent. So really quick question, just because I'm reviewing how Foundry works. Actually, 2 questions. One, we all start with a determination for today, correct?
That is correct. Everybody starts
Okay.
with 1 determination.
Needed to fill that back out. So when talents come into play, such as for extra dice, the system automatically includes that. So where it says when I make an engineering roll, it's automatically included.
No, so that you'll have to add in manually every time. No, it doesn't have automation like some other systems, but we do what we can.
I just wanted to make sure I didn't dump threat into the pool by mistake.
No, so the only way threat goes up is if I click the button. You all should have access to the momentum that you guys can upgrade at any point, but in general, threat is something only I can mess with.
Perfect. Thank you. I just didn't want to accidentally sabotage people. But basically, we're looking at the nitrous problem. If we want to talk about regular cars, when you overbuild an engine, you need sometimes you have to sleeve an engine so the block doesn't split. People use nitrous or constantly blowing their engines. It's that same situation to use a modern day equivalent.
You know, I never thought of it that way, but I love the metaphor. And
It's
the only reason I know that is because my mother runs the dragon every once in a while, if anybody knows what the dragon is.
I've spent many years of my life living with mechanics, so I'm familiar with some of the problems with overbuilding engines. It's a very similar type problem. You put too much power in, and the chassis can only take so much, which is something Scotty references quite a lot in the original series. So yeah, there's it's the throttle's probably a little touchy here and there. Kind of like if you're driving a stick with a light flywheel, it'll go, but you don't. It will sometimes go faster than you want. So the shakedown cruise is definitely appreciated for this opportunity to really know the ship.
Oh, I'm glad we did that last check.
And even with the near complications, Ebson is having a wonderful time.
All right, then. That's engineering taken care of. Do we want to also do check in on our sensor suites as well as our defensive systems?
Yeah, you just tell me which order you want to go in.
We'll do sensors next. That's definitely going to be next. Like we need like top of the line sensors, especially sensors that are able to operate at transwarp.
All right. Stafford, you
Here.
are our lovely science officer, if memory serves. So I'm going to need you to do a reason science here. This is a difficulty of 1. You actually have multiple focuses here that apply. And then if somebody else can grab the Mercury is going to assist them with a sensors and science here.
All right.
I don't mind rolling. I've never given it a shot.
Yeah, go for it. And just again as a reminder, the ship always rolls with a focus and starts with 1 die.
Just doing a quick once over of my talents and focuses.
Oh yeah, difficulty. Difficulty of 1, so more free momentum for you, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. So,
Okay, well the Mercury is already throwing 1 at you, so that's good news.
and it's 2 dice for a regular roll.
Correct. Okay, so that is a grand total of 2 successes, meaning you get 1 more momentum, bringing you up to 3. So, Stafford, it's not exactly the flagship sensors. You don't have the advanced sensor suites that some vessels are, treated to. But where you don't have the most, pinpoint accurate sensors of the fleet, you have the only sensors that operate at transwarp speeds. So, in a sense, you do have advanced sensor suites. They're just meant for when you're going really fast.
That's understandable. Stafford will, once the sensor check is done, write up a very detailed log report to give to the commander later.
All right.
Okay.
And I believe that now falls to Commander Ram to perform the shooting part of our next part of the shakedown.
Yep. In preparation, Rad's going to do a check on all the armaments of the ship, both personal and shipboard, in order to get eyes on everything and make sure that it's all in working order.
Okay. So, as you probably know the theme at this point, Ram, it's a reason security. And this time, the ship is actually not going to assist you. It is definitely still a difficulty of 1, though.
Sounds good. So, reason and security.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to guess, would security systems play into this?
Oh, most definitely.
All right. So, we'll go ahead and use the focus there.
Then you get 3 successes. You're almost at cap momentum. You're up to 5. So, Ram, as you've probably heard me allude to a few times, the Mercury's construction is unique in the fact that you have what are essentially, to put it lightly, you have something better than phasers. You have something better than disruptors. Hell, you have something better than even Borg vessel cutting lances. You have a graviton beam array. And that's important because whatever you hit with a graviton ignores resistance, is very easy to overload on damage, and basically is a way of saying, hey, I'm small, but I will beat the heck out of you if you make me, kind of a thing. And that's just the starting point. The second point is that you have reverse engineered Borg gravimetric torpedoes. Now, they are a little bit finicky. You do have to spend some time, lining up the shot and calibrating the whole 9 yards. But when you fire a gravimetric torpedo, just like the gravimetric beam array, whatever you hit is gonna feel it. Now, in terms of personal weapons, you've got the standard loadout, Type 3 phasers, body armor, personal force fields, anything you could ever want for a mission like this.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Yeah, I think Ram is definitely quite in love with those torpedoes, especially.
So, do you want to shoot one?
I sure do.
All right. So we'll say for sake of argument that there are a number of test dummies a little bit farther away from the shipyards. But first, somebody has to give the order to fly out of Stardock, and somebody has to not scratch the paint on the way out of Stardock.
No Galaxy Quest.
All right, then. In that case, I'm assuming I've gotten the go-ahead from all departments.
Unless
Everyone's,
somebody wants
ready?
to speak up.
Security's go.
Sciences are go.
And our engineering department.
All systems green.
Fantastic. Let's let the space dock know we're ready to depart.
All right. So traffic control handles the removal of the gantries, the support arms, the full power of the Mercury turns on. The most dramatic shot, of course, of the little light above the registry flicking on to display the U.S.S. Mercury NCC, what is she, 99001-X. And now, I believe somebody who may or may not be played by Joggy has to make a very important pilot roll. So,
Yes.
because I find it funny, and somebody did give me threat for it, normally this would just be a difficulty of 2, but it is now a difficulty of 4 because it's funny. And again, just like we were referencing earlier, the reason that this con task is so difficult is because the speed catches up to you very quickly. So it's one of those situations where, like, instead of like shifting into first, you somehow skip fourth all the way to fourth or all the way to fifth, and that does things to an engine. That does things to a starship. But Ebson, this is a control and a con. This is a difficulty of 4, and the ship will assist you with an engines con.
I do want to say that going from starting in 5th is not it's not quite as effective, but I am here for the shenanigans.
Mhm.
All right, so I probably have a talent or focus that applies here. Give me a second.
Yeah, let me help you look here. You have helm operations, so you definitely have a
Yep.
focus.
And do I have a...
I don't think you've got a talent, though.
No,
That's
but
fine.
that only comes up with engineering problems. All right, so I got two dice to start. We'll see if the ship helps me out, and we've already got 5 momentum, so I'm going to use some.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody wants to grab the Mercury. Again, it is an engines con from the Mercury.
Who hasn't rolled yet?
I think just you, Captain. I think you're the only
I
one
did
that
already.
hasn't done a main roll. So
I've rolled for the ship. I haven't done a main roll yet.
yeah.
I kind of like the captain rolling for the ship.
Seems fitting, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Agreed.
We're doing engines con.
Engines con.
Alrighty, let's see what she gets. Come on, girl. We need to make a good first impression here.
Wow, that is a significant first impression. That's already 2 successes.
All right, folks. So I need at minimum 2 successes. I have 2 dice. I have a focus. I'd like to use momentum. Should I just buy 1 die or should I buy 2 so we're do a particularly showy leave?
Yeah, let's show off.
Let's show off. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's 3 momentum.
3 momentum.
We're technically the fastest ship in the fleet, so come on.
We're all clicking at the same time.
Need I
so
remind
I am
you
rolling
that
4
while in
dice.
space dock, we must remain under thruster.
Nah, just do the what is that maneuver they do for the red team, red squad? Was it the starburst something? The one where
Look, I
Something
just
like
went through
that.
the Janeway maneuver. It's fine.
yeah, there you go.
Oh no, not the chainway maneuver.
Activate
Alright,
self-destruct.
Okay, that is
Woo!
5 total successes, which means you get a momentum back. So, Ebson, what does it look like as you leave Stardock?
Ebsen behaves themselves for the initial pull out. After all, you don't want to damage the equipment. You don't want to knock into something that might have not been tidied away appropriately. So we have that nice, like, we've got the orchestral sound effect as the camera pans across the Mercury as it pulls out. And it makes its way precisely to the safety limit before engaging. to let it rip.
Okay. Now, how hard do you push her? Full impulse, half impulse?
You know what? We got the extra. We did a really good roll. Let's just do the full. If we get to the line and we hit full impulse, like the overexcited pilot that they are.
All right. So you metaphorically buzz the tower as you head out
Oh
of the
yeah.
shipyard, and you eventually arrive in the testing ground. The comms officer just slowly turns to the captain and goes, "Sir, we have some very choice comments for our pilot, but I think they're also accepting of the fact that this is a new ship and that buzzing the tower is just a thing that'll happen."
Somebody play some Kenny Loggins.
Danger Zone begins playing.
We need
Yes.
to make sure we know how she performs under pressure.
No arguments here, Commander.
But yes, Ram, you are now in range of those target dummies. And you just tell me what weapon you want to fire, and I'll walk you through it.
All right, Rad's going to go ahead and crack his knuckles and flex his fingers, getting ready. We'll go ahead and we'll start with the graviton beam array.
Okay. So that will require a simple control and security, and the Mercury will assist you with a weapon security. It is going to be a difficulty of 2.
All right.
Okay, well, there's already the 2 you need, as long as the ship doesn't complicate.
Oh, I see. I'm doing all ship rolls. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Weapons and security.
Mm-hmm. Well, not a complication, but you get the 2 you need. So, Ram, what does it look like as you blow up a little test satellite? Do you do a little bit of a fancy maneuver in conjunction with Ebsen? Do you literally just park and then fire? Like, what does it look like?
I think he's going to wait for Ebsen to pull around it and go for a strafing shot.
Okay. So what we see is
get a nice little nice little strafe as we pass and wait for the full arc of the turn.
Got it. So what we see is the Mercury kind of swoops in screen right, and we see this little target dummy, which is basically a glorified junker satellite that people shoot at. But you see the Mercury sort of swoop in. The strip on the right side of the Mercury's dorsal section begins to illuminate in a bright white color before the array kind of comes to a point and lances out with a beam that not only hits the satellite, but destroys it completely in one shot.
Remind me to never get the ship angry at me.
Rad nods, very pleased with the effect.
All right. Do you want to test the torpedoes, Rad? Ram? Yeah, sorry.
Nothing would give me greater pleasure.
All right, so it's basically the same roll, except now it's a difficulty of 3, and mechanically, anytime you fire a torpedo, it costs 1 threat. So I will go up to 9 threat here, but you can fire that torpedo, same roll, control security, assisted by the ship's weapons security. But I'll even give you a chance for further glory since Ebsen has already shown off, where if you wish to fire a salvo of torpedoes, the threat becomes 3 instead of 1, but you fire a salvo of torpedoes, which does a lot of cool, interesting things when you blow up stuff.
Oh, I really want to do that.
Go for it.
Yeah, let's go for the salvo. And can I use a momentum to add an extra die?
Yeah, so you'll be at 3d20.
Okay. That's what the ship gets.
Okay, well, another 17 for the ship, back to back, 1 in 400 odds. Yeah, there you go. You got the 3 you needed on your own. So I'm going to let you describe it this time, Ram. What does it look like as a trio of torpedoes flies out from the underside of the saucer section?
I'm thinking Ram is going to go for a nice little rhythm with them. A little boom, boom. Pause, boom. Once again, waits for the ship to come back around the other direction and shoots them off, one at the start of the turn, one at the peak of the turn, one just as it's coming past and almost out of range.
All right. So, interestingly, when you fire the gravimetric or the yeah, they are the gravimetric. What am I saying? When you fire the gravimetric torpedoes for the first time, they start pretty underwhelming. Like photon torpedoes, very flashy when they're fired. The gravimetric torpedoes, when they're fired, are just like these little balls of green light when you fire them out. And you're like, well, that's not going to do anything. But as soon as they're a certain distance away from the ship, they fully activate and become the terrifying Borg-like spheres of doom as they not only slam into the satellites one by one, but you create such an explosion that I'm actually going to spend 2 threat to say that there's a little bit of bleed off that rocks your shields and does 2 shield damage.
Whew. I believe that's exactly why we do these kinds of shakedowns. Something to keep in mind.
We should keep our distance a little bit if we do salvos again.
We might want to recheck the calibrations of the gravimetric torpedoes as well.
I agree.
Well, this is why we have shakedowns.
And I think you also get the comm officer turns and says, "Sir, spacedock is now saying that they applaud the light show, but we also need to tow out new target dummies for the next ship that's ready."
It'd be a good chance for us to test out our tractor beams. Let them know we'll do so.
Aye, sir. You know what? We need to name this comm officer. Let me just generate a comm officer real quick. We need to let's see. See, we have a Betazoid, a Boolean, a Cardassian, and a human. What would go good with that?
I vote Tellarite.
Tellarite?
Yes.
No, I would say Tellarite normally. The problem is that every game I have has the one Tellarite.
Every ship needs that one Tellarite. But
Well, I don't think you
understand.
quite understand that all Tellarites come as Sean Conra. And if you don't like Sean Conra, too bad, because this is the voice I'd be doing for him the entire time.
What about a Saurian?
Which ones are those?
Linus from Discovery.
I am blanking. Let me look. Let me see. What does he look like?
The dinosaur-looking person?
Yeah.
Oh, he's sorry. Oh, okay. I heard something. I was like, Saurian? What is that? Okay, so yeah, we could have a Saurian. Let me see. We just need a name.
Saurians are cool.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Let's go with Zis. That's a nice, easy name. So we have Ensign Zis, Comms Officer.
Having a reptile-based comms officer is great because with the way we're flying and acting, you don't want someone whose blood runs hot.
Very true.
Also, since they are Saurian, they do apparently come with the obligatory Saurian brandy aboard. So there you go.
Cheers.
Absolute bonus.
But yeah, all things considered, your shakedown cruise went very well. You have some things to calibrate. You have some things that obviously need a little bit tweaking. But right as you start to tow the extra target dummies out from the Antari shipyards, you actually get a priority transmission from your friend, the Fleet Admiral. And when the comms officer puts him on the screen, Fleet Admiral says, Mercury, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we need you to test the transwarp immediately. We have a changeling aboard one of our vessels that needs to get back to Earth in order for medical treatment. And this is vital for not only the changeling's health, but for our alliance with, or not really our alliance, let me take that back. What are they at this point? ELH gets ahead of me.
Diplomatic relations.
Relations, that's the word I want. Thank you. Our relations with the Dominion. So we need you to get to Earth as fast as humanly possible.
Understood, Admiral. We'll make way immediately.
All right. So if we had a medical officer, we would go, and say, all right, well, we beam the changeling aboard, we do medical stuff. But since none of you are medical, we'll just say that you get confirmation that the changeling has beamed aboard. But now comes the grace, the true beauty of the U.S.S. Mercury making your first transwarp jump. Now, I'm going to lay it out because this is a very important role. So this will take reserve power. So go ahead and mark off reserve power on the sheet. The next thing you need to know is that this is a control and a con. The ship will assist you with a sensors con. And this is a difficulty of 3 by default. You also got a momentum from chat, and chat has redeemed an evil complication. So you do go up to 3 momentum, but I'm going to raise the complication range to a 17 to 20, thanks to chat.
I will also add in, I have the talent that myself or the ship may re-roll one of its d20s.
Could be important.
Technical expertise always is.
All right, let's not screw this up.
So that means the ship complication range also goes up
17 to 20.
To 3?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it goes up to 3.
Okay. Let's see what happens. I've been rolling a lot of 17s.
I mean, surely you can't get another one. No, you got a 13. You're good.
All right, so I need 2 more successes?
Yep.
All right, I'm going to buy 1 more die, so I'm rolling 3 dice.
Okay.
Okay, you marked that. I have a focus in where's my focus? This are we using? Would this be transwarp mechanics or guidance systems, or
Both,
helm operations?
Really. All 3.
Okay, 1 applies. That's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you have 3 successes here, but that 20 or that 18 is a complication.
I do get to re-roll 1 though.
Yep. So go ahead and re-roll that 18. All right, still a complication, but this is good. This is story development. So here's what happens. Is from, again, the underside, the sloped underside that looks sort of like a Sovereign's where the deflector dish is, we see a tachyon pulse fire out from the embedded transwarp coil in the deflector, and a aperture into a very deep layer of subspace, transwarp space, as I'm going to call it. A aperture into transwarp space opens up, and everything looks good. The sensor readings are good, the power readings are nominal, everything looks like it should. But right before you enter the transwarp conduit, or the transwarp space through which you will make a conduit, you get a warning. Specifically, RAM, you get a warning that your temporal shielding is on the fritz. And you have a choice here of either immediately slamming the stop button or attempting a roll to stabilize that shielding.
It's important to get back to make sure that this test goes off well, so let's go ahead and do a roll.
Okay. So RAM, this is a daring and security. The Mercury will assist you with a computers and engineering. Actually, no, computers and security. This is where I'm going to dump a little bit of threat because I want to keep things interesting. It is still a 17 to 20 complication range, and it is a difficulty of 3.
Commander, there seems to be an issue with the ship's shields. I'm going to attempt to compensate.
He nods. Okay, as if the ship gets.
Well, ship came
Whew.
prepared.
The complication range is 3, right?
Correct.
Okay, I'm going to say security systems applies as a focus, though, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Security and daring.
There you go. You get a momentum back. So, Ram, to sort of paint the picture here, your fingers dance across the LCARs, and right before it's the moment too late, you fix the problem, you get a green light across the board, and then you slip into transwarp space. Now, very similar to what we see in Voyager all the time, it is a swirling vortex of greens and whites. And at the very head of the vessel, there is a bit of a shockwave that is formed, similar to what would happen if a jet in real life were pushing the sound barrier, where you are tunneling and creating a tunnel through which other vessels can eventually follow. And the good news is that nothing has gone wrong, except for that little snafu right at the beginning, but nothing has gone wrong. And I don't have enough threat to change that. So, what this means is you have about 15 minutes before you arrive at Earth. So, congratulations.
Whew.
Good flying, everyone. Stafford is going to be just hunched over the sensors and everything because he doesn't want some sort of weird anomaly like a micro black hole to suddenly shunt them 300 years into the past. So
It's a
That'd be
valid
hard to
concern.
explain. If you have 15 minutes, I'm probably going to go over to sick bay and check in on our patient, our high value patient.
All right.
all right, Captain.
While we have a few moments, I'll go ahead and do the recalibration on the torpedoes.
Okay.
All right, Epson, you have the con.
Aye, aye. Ebson would definitely like to check some of the systems. We are in transwarp for the first time, and so they are definitely paying careful attention to the helm. Just because they can fly like a jerk sometimes doesn't mean they don't actually want to take care of the ship.
Valid. All right. Well, let's
She is a
follow the
muscle card I
captain
would take
then.
care of incredibly well.
Let's follow the captain then as we head down to sickbay. Now, again, since this is a scale 3 vessel and it is very much a big old warp core with a big old transwarp coil, you don't have the best of sick bays. In fact, what you have is basically 3 biobeds and that's it. But interestingly, the Changeling founder is not in a biobed. In fact, they are behind a force field and they are very much flailing and basically trying to break out as much as possible. And it just occurred to me that I now need to generate a doctor. Who should the doctor be? Let me think. You know what? I like the trend that Babylon has. I'm gonna give you guys a Klingon doctor.
All right.
I was going to say this would be fun to have the Tellarite be the doctor.
Oh,
I
are
think
they?
Klingon will be even more fun.
Oh, are they? Oh, what's the term? An exchange officer.
Yeah, I think that'll be fun.
Yeah, KDF doctor.
Just have to figure out a good name. Is that a existing
Shorn.
house? All right, so this is. Let me put it in chat. Her name will be Rari, daughter of Vosh.
Yes.
Is Vosh an existing house? If so, we just may have created a drama. And she is KDF Exchange Medical. And she's she/her. All right, cool. So when she comes in, Rari is standing there with her arms over her chest and just sort of not laughing, but she definitely is wearing a Klingon grin. And when you come in and she sees you, she says, "Ah, Captain, I report that our charge is very much in a moodful state. They have lost control of their abilities of reason, and in an attempt to make sure they didn't harm themselves or somebody else, I locked them behind that force field.
Can we dial back for just like a couple seconds before we enter into the
Oh,
sick
yeah,
bay?
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, because Paden's walking down the corridors, heading down there. He gets to the room of sick bay and he just takes a moment and just stops and goes over to like a nearby console, checks how he looks in the reflection, and then he just closes his eyes and you just see his fist shaking for like a couple seconds before it just kind of unclenches and just lets it go. Because poor old Kavat does not have the best history with the Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
He just takes a deep breath, lets it out, and then enters sickbay.
All right. You get that shame spiel.
Do we have any idea what's affecting them?
As far as I'm aware, it is some form of a malfactor in their biochemical makeup. I must admit that I am not an expert on the founders and the changelings. I know enough that if you can calm them down for a moment, I can sedate them in a sense where they will be able to be contained within a vase or a container. And at this point, the changeling is just flailing against the force field. Your luck would be much better than mine in that aspect.
We'll see. And the commander is going to approach the force field.
Okay. And just to give a little bit more flavor, usually changelings, when they're in this temporary form, they are that kind of orangish brown. This time the changeling is more of a green, so there's definitely something wrong with them.
Yep. The commander will approach, hands behind his back, and sort of a chest a little bit puffed out, trying to command authority.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll actually look back over to Dr. Rari. Do you have any indication of their name, title? What should I address them as?
My understanding is their name is Avast, and I'll put that in chat. Avast.
Okay. Also, I think I desynced from Forge.
Might happen. It might have logged you out, because sometimes it gets happy about that.
Yeah.
Yep, there you go. You disappeared on my end.
Yep. Well, until I need to roll something, anyway. He'll approach the force field and say, Avast, I'm Commander Kovat Paden of the U.S.S. Mercury, the ship you're now aboard. I would like to ask that you please get a hold of yourself, at least for the time being.
And I think the changeling will respond depending on a presence command on your part.
I would love to make that if I wasn't just just waiting at a screen.
Yeah,
Someone can roll for me in that case.
I can always roll for you if it's stuck, but
yeah, and I would also like to spend a threat so I can use bold command.
Okay. So let me give you the total difficulty here before you decide how much threat to spend. This will probably be a difficulty of 4.
How much momentum do we have right now?
You have 3 momentum.
Am I mind if I take 2 momentum and spend 1 threat?
I believe that's the name of the game.
Go right ahead.
Okay, let's do
And
it.
I believe Genstar would approve because good leaders get their hands dirty.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what screen are you stuck on right now?
The starting screen where it has version 13 build, etc.
Huh. Try refreshing and see if that gives you the login.
I remember what the thing is to refresh but delete cookies.
All I've known is that if I hit Control F5, it does the work for me.
That's the one. Thank you.
Yeah.
Close and restart the browser.
Gotta love technology sometimes.
Oh, it's brilliant.
But yeah, either we can wait or I can do the roll for you, whichever you'd prefer.
That's what it. I had to kill the browser.
Ah, okay.
First time it's ever happened on this.
It's happened to me a few times recently when I've been between systems.
Hmm.
Might be a Forge thing, really.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay,
Presence
I'm back in.
Command, you have 4 dice, you have Bold Command, and I need to see 4 successes here.
Presence command. 4 dice. I have a pretty good roll here.
And before 20s.
Let's see. I do have a focus. Would diplomacy come into play?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Fantastic.
Yep. Well, you can re-roll the 20.
Let's reroll the 20.
1 in 400 odds to get another 20.
I mean, the complication would be kind of fun, though.
It would
Actually,
be
I
funny.
kind of. Could a complication be involved? Like I'm a Cardassian.
If we can always say that if you want to take the complication, I will make something up for you. If you have one in mind, we can always go with something you have in mind.
Yeah, I kind of want to play that angle. That could be interesting.
Okay. So you do succeed, but what is it that the founder, what is it the changeling responds? Like, do they mimic your form? Do they take some kind of humanoid form and begin like a rapport, like they know you because you're Cardassian? What is the complication here?
I think the complication is that they probably consider to be part of like the failed Dominion War, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think maybe they're just like maybe they're not operating in their right mind, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they're.
No,
I
I
don't know.
like
What
that.
sounds fun to everybody?
I mean, I like that.
I like it as well. Sounds interesting and engaging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it.
Cool. Then that is
Okay.
what we'll run with. So they assume the changeling humanoid form, very, very smooth faces, the smooth ears, the hair that is actually plastered to their skull, that sort of thing. And they present as male, but they look you up and down and go, one of our failed acquisitions. And he kind of turns up his head to you a little bit.
I take it now. I'm speaking with a vest.
You have been speaking to Avast the entire time, Cardassian. And he kind of, I'm not putting the force of the word Cardassian in my tone because I want to blow out a mic, but he definitely put some gravitas on that word.
For the time being, I prefer the title of commander.
Oh, well, Commander. Why have you trapped me here? I demand to be released immediately.
The vest is our understanding that you're suffering from some sort of illness.
I'm
And just
perfectly
until
fine. I feel fine. And then they sneeze, which changelings don't sneeze, but they sneeze. And I'd like to just paint the mental image that their nose literally like forms a tendril and then comes back into a nose if you want to figure out how that happens with a changeling.
the commander will just stare at that for a second, letting the action speak for itself.
It is a mild inconvenience. I demand you release me at once. I must return to the Founder's homeworld.
We're taking you to Earth's space dock where you can be looked at by a medical specialist. We should be there momentarily.
Well, what do you mean? The Antares shipyard was 20 light years away. It's been 10 minutes.
Yes, you are standing within the Federation's first transwarp capable vessel.
And, Avast's eyes go a little bit wide and go, wow, And he kind of looks around a little bit of a marvel. So this is that experiment they were talking about. Interesting.
And right now, it's been pulled to provide you with medical transport.
And Avast sort of, the pupils of their eyes stop dilating, even though they don't have to because, again, changeling. But for dramatic effect, the pupils undilate. Avast sort of finds their way to the edge of a biobed, sits down, and goes, well, if I can't get back to the Gamma Quadrant, I suppose Earth's space dock or Earth is the closest thing I'll have to proper treatment.
For the time being, we should allow my ship's doctor to at least assist you in being comfortable.
What, that Klingon? Heavens no, they can't do medicine. And Rari, daughter of Vosh, just kind of scoffs and says, "Oh, I can do medicine just fine. In fact, it's my job to make sure that everybody on this ship makes their way to Stovacor at the appropriate time. However, Changeling, I see that you need no help from me." And she sort of scoffs a little bit and does that Klingon chest puff, if you will.
I assure you, she's more than capable of assisting you, but of course, that is your choice.
So again, Paden, you can choose to not do this role if you don't want to, but this would be a presence and command once again at a difficulty of 2.
Hmm. I don't know. This kind of plays into one of my values, and that's almost in like a negative fashion.
Sure, I mean, negative values are always fun because that gives you determination by applying them negatively.
Yeah, it's more like seeking to find himself far, far from home, and this is too close to home.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to try.
Okay.
Yeah, presence command again.
Yep. Difficulty
Alrighty,
2.
Simpson. Diplomacy still a focus?
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. Difficulty 2, I'm just gonna let it ride, see what happens.
Okay. You get your 2. So, Avast just sort of sighs and says, "Very well, you may let the Klingon in." And Rari smiles, grabs her batleth and her medical tricorder, and does the thing where she lowers the force field, steps through, raises the force field, and begins scanning with the tricorder. Meanwhile, back up at the bridge, Stafford, Ram, Ebsen, you have approximately 4 minutes before you drop out right next to Earth's spacedock. Unless you wanted to be further out in the Sol system. It's your call.
What do you think, Epson? Come right up next to space dock, or should we give them a little bit of a warning that we're popping in?
As much as I like making an appearance with a ship as fine as this one, I think we should give a slightly larger margin as we learn the braking range on this beauty. So
Sounds good.
The not immediately next to space dock, because it'd be really embarrassing to botch that. And hey, let's have that nice cinematic approach.
All right, well, the captain has yet to return. They're still down in sickbay. It's getting up to be about that time, Ebsen, where you need to make a call of either waiting for the captain or you need to make the command decision to drop out yourself.
I mean, they were given the helm, and this would fall under, I believe, the appropriate judgment call to be made. So Ebsen will send a quick ping through, basically page the captain or commander to let him know that we are approaching the space dock and will be dropping out of transwarp imminently. With the appropriate short, you're going to get back to me within 10 seconds? Nope. Okay, we're making a call.
All right, well, your call, Commander, whether or not you reply immediately or you just let it ride.
I think this is a captain that appreciates independence from his crew, especially since they're all going to be working kind of a close knit. So, yeah. Understood, Epson. Go ahead and take her out of Transwarp when you're ready.
All right. Do I need to make a roll for this, or is this?
It just happens. You push the button and it just happens. So what we see is a shot of Saturn where, standard Saturn, it's got sort of an orangish color, it's got nice rings, has some very pretty moons. And then coming out of a transwarp conduit a little bit of ways from Saturn is the Mercury. And immediately when you drop at a transwarp, you are lit up, like metaphorically, by a hail of comm traffic. where the comms officer, she just sort of, or no, Ziz, we made a he, him. Ziz kind of turns and says, sir, traffic control wants to know what the hell we're doing. We've got a fleet admiral asking if they want us, or if we need any assistance. And then I have Starfleet Medical wanting us to beat feet to Stardock as soon as possible. What are the messages I'm sending to each of them?
If you want the captain to show up at this point, you can.
Yeah, why don't we do that? So, Captain, or you'll walk in and you'll hear the entire thing that Ziz just said.
Okay. Inform Starfleet Medical will be there momentarily. Inform the Admiral since we're done with this. Since we're done dealing with our high priority patient, we'll get to them.
And traffic control, they're very angry about how we've thrown off apparently the entire system they had going. Should I send our apologies?
Can't be helped.
And Ziz turns back to his console.
Can't be helped. Don't apologize.
Can't be helped. Don't apologize. Well, sir, I have good news. The traffic control is telling me that we are welcome to Sol and that we are slated for docking at Stardock 1 in approximately 5 minutes' time.
Fantastic.
So real quick in that, because since Gensar actually made an effort to come into the system with plenty of clearance, the news that we've thrown everything off is a little, okay, that's worth taking a note. And they want to, if they can't actually set up system checks and tests to sort of see what happened, they want to at least get those sort of queued up so we can get the system readouts of effects, and if need be, there'll be a pinned note of see if we can get their reports just to compare, since this is new data.
Mm-hmm. Well, we can do that in the 5 minutes it takes you to get from point A to point B. Why don't you give me a reason con or a reason engineering? Either's fine. This is a difficulty of 3, and the Mercury will assist you with a sensors engineering.
Sounds good. Experimental technology?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So focus applied.
Well, the Mercury once again, 2 successes. Good job, Mercury.
You said difficulty 3?
Correct.
I'm going to try it with just the 2 dice. And it's going to be a reason engineering.
Okay. All right. So that is 3 total successes, which means you will get back 1 momentum there.
All
so,
right.
Oh, yep. Go ahead.
I guess it didn't matter. I was going to say I know my ship, and this is but we're not solving a technical problem necessarily. We're just trying to figure out what happened outside the ship. So, sorry.
No, you're good. Feel free to interrupt me at any time. Usually I'll shut up if you just tell me to shut up. But yeah, with that many successes, Epson, as you're looking at the logs, what you see is that there was a time lag where your exit from transwarp and your arrival in system was a lag of about 0.5 seconds. But in that 0.5 seconds was enough time that to traffic control, they didn't detect an incoming transwarp signature. You literally just whoop into existence.
Ooh, it's like a stutter stealth. I like that.
Now, since again, this is the first time some of you are interfacing with the system, you can spend a meta currency to ask me a pointed question, and I have to answer truthfully, but not necessarily completely.
What should we ask?
So here's what I'm thinking is I want to know if this is something that we can do deliberately and control. I'm assuming there'll be one normally. But this would be a good effect to know about. If it's going to happen no matter what, can we leverage it?
I hold
The Epson maneuver.
Yes, I like it. Let's ask that.
So that's a momentum, I assume?
Yep, momentum or threat, your call.
Y'all have a preference?
I'm always down to give the GM threat.
All right, take a threat.
Yeah.
Yay, treat. All right. So, remember how earlier in the session a certain ram had to fix the temporal shielding? Well, it just so happens that Ram inadvertently stumbled upon a specific frequency for the temporal shielding, which is permitting this effect, at least as far as you can tell. You're going to need to test it a few times, but you think whatever Ram did to the shields, that's why this effect happened. And Ram, you would know this as well, because obviously while you're flying, you're talking across the bridge and everybody's collaborating on this.
Stafford is going to be a little jittery about this. Oh no! Please don't let temporal affairs get involved again.
It's a hiccup of less than a second. I don't think we've messed with any causality this time.
I'll keep my fingers crossed.
Ram's definitely going to listen with great interest to the explanation, but is not nearly a good enough engineer to figure it out himself, so...
I think that this is going to be something that... So now we know that happened because of that. Gensar is definitely going to want to, as time permits, this will probably be an ongoing project since, we've only got 5 minutes in game time, and then we'll be moving other things. I think they're going to want to continue investigating this and tracking data, because this happened because of the shield adjustment that was made. We don't know how permanent that is, and is it going to degrade? Is it going to increase? So Gensar is going to definitely be wanting to track this, and again, they are definitely curious if this is something that can be controlled.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So,
I'll be happy to provide a full log of the changes that I made.
I was going to ask if you were going to do that. Cool. So we have a log from Ram. I'm just writing this all down in my notes. So we have a log from Ram. We have that done. Cool.
And Ebsen will also be there's a report that will be done up to go with that log.
Okay. Make a note of that as well.
Hey, right. The only way to collect data over time is to have the multiple data points to compare against.
No, indeed. Scientific method. All right. Okay, got it down. So, what's going to happen is obviously you fly over to Earth's spacedock, you get in transporter range, your changeling charge of Vast is transported over for medical treatment. Rari goes with them simply because Rari isn't going to discharge her patient anytime soon. She has taken a blood oath of some kind to never let a patient down, and she's taking that very seriously. So you're still here waiting on Rari for a little bit. But as you all are sitting at, station keeping outside Stardock 1, again, this is the biggest starbase that the Federation has. It is the same Stardock we see at the end of Picard, the one we see in Star Trek Online. It's massive, stupidly massive even, and there is all sorts of traffic coming in and out of the station. But one thing I'd like to point out is that unless you are doing anything specifically to block scans, is that everybody is interested in who the hell just showed up. So you are getting scanned 6 ways to Sunday.
I guess the question is, or go ahead.
No, I think you're probably asking the same thing I am. You can go.
Yeah, the question is are our transwarp engines still technically classified?
The answer to that is something I probably should have said during the initial briefing. Tushakal would have told you that it's okay to let people scan you. It's not okay to let them get a hold of what's in the black box. And you know that there is a black box on the vessel, and that is something he was originally going to explain at the end of your shakedown. But since, you had to immediately jump for the changeling, you don't know what's in that black box. You just know that it is above the prime directive that black box is not to fall into enemy hands.
So none of us know what's in that black box, not even our chief engineer.
Correct.
That's interesting. And I'm assuming
Is
the
there-
black box itself is shielded from like all scanning.
It is like literally a black box where you could take a tricorder to it, you could put a sovereign an inch away, and the sovereign could scan it. You could shoot it with a phaser, you could shoot it with a graviton beam. In fact, this thing is made out of solid neutronium. But the weird thing is that this literal black box is maybe about the size of a shoebox. It's nothing really impressive. It's pretty tiny, all things considered. And it is located in a juncture around which that RAM, as part of your security briefing, you were told by the Admiral to keep at least 2 people on duty next to this junction at all times. Now, of course, you being security can change that, but that's what the Admiral would have told you.
Well, I'm certainly following the order on that for the moment.
Mm-hmm. Well, if our key component is properly shielded, I don't think there's any reason why they can't scan us.
All one big happy fleet, right?
Exactly. We're the new ship. We're supposed to show off a little.
And as you all are sitting there waiting, going about your duty, Ensign Ziz turns and says, "Sir, I'm getting a hail from a U.S.S. Arcadia A. They just want to say hello. Should I put them on viewer?"
Go for it.
Appearing on screen is a Trill. He is wearing, of course, the same captain, sort of whites on the top, black everywhere else. But he says, "Hello, my name is Admiral Tahan, and if my scans are correct, you are our brand new transwarp shiny thing. Is that correct?"
That would be correct, Admiral.
Well, I'm sure that there's many admirals who want to shake your hand on a successful test jump, but let me be the first to welcome you to Earth and for creating the first of what I hope is many transwarp conduits. And
Thank you, Admiral. It's very much appreciated.
And as you say that, Ram, you are detecting that the Sovereign class, which was just nearby, cosmically nearby, begins firing off like little fireworks. And sure enough, after like a few moments, like a number of ships start firing off fireworks. Like they're giving you the full like hero's honor kind of a thing.
I haven't seen this many fireworks since Voyager got back.
And I think Tahan sort of smiles at that and says, "Well, this, as I said, is a momentous occasion. With your ship, we will be able to go boldly even further than we are capable currently. We'll be able to rescue people in need that much quicker. We'll be able to get out to the frontier even faster. This is a tremendous undertaking, and I cannot understate how important it is that we support you. All of us support you in your mission. So please, if there's anything you need, do let us know."
Absolutely, Admiral. Thank you. Thank you for the receptions. Very much appreciated.
Also, I see is that Ensign Ziz, and Ziz kind of smiles, turns and waves. Yes, sir, that's me. Thank you for remembering me. Well, yes, I remember you stole me a case of Sarium brandy. And Ziz, their eyes go a little bit wide, and they look at you, Commander, and go, "I don't have brandy on me. I don't have brandy on me. What do I do?"
It's okay. I know somebody in Los Angeles. We'll get you some.
Okay. And back to the viewer screens, it says, "I will see you in Los Angeles in 2 days' time." And Tahan says, "Very well. I'll see you in Los Angeles then." And then the comm cuts out, and Ziz kind of deflates and goes, "Whew, okay, yeah, I've owed him like a case of brandy for like 2 years at this point."
Well, at least it's not latinum to a Ferengi.
Somehow they would have invented transwarp just to follow you out.
Exactly.
Oh god, that is a terrifying thought. Ferengi with transwarp. Oh god.
There's a reason why we have to protect that black box now.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, drop shipping.
Literally.
They would just use it for shooting billboards all over space.
Lord help us.
Oh, Lord. But yeah, since we are at the end of the mission, what I'm going to do is open up for open roleplay at this point. You have Anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes of real time to role play amongst yourselves. If there's a project you want to tackle, feel free. But the next 20 to 30 minutes, completely up to you all. And
Stafford
you know
would
what?
like.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Go
If
ahead.
you want to start, go
No,
ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that Stafford would love to get his hands on all of the sensor reports pertaining to our very small time displacement, uh, just to review and everything. There could be a whole paper, to be written about this.
There could indeed. Why don't you give me a reason and science? I'm going to spend some threat to make it a difficulty of 4.
Can Gensar assist since they are actively interested in this exact same thing and we're already starting to compile it?
Yes, you may assist with a reason engineering. And, teachable moment, Ram, if you also want to assist, you would just have to spend 1 momentum, but you could assist with a reason security.
Absolutely, yeah. I was going to say, Ram is not as interested in the specifics of the science behind it, but is definitely interested in the strategic implications.
Could I be able to make use of my value? Discovery is a process, not an event.
Yeah, so what you would do then when you're doing the roll is you would check using a determination value.
All right. There we go.
So real quick, this is my first time rolling an assist in Foundry. So do I just roll a d20?
Yeah, you set it. Well, you would either hit perform task and set it to 1, and then apply a focus
Thank
if
you.
applicable. But
Yep. Nope. Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay, I see 5
Wowza.
successes. Nice. All right, so that'll get you a momentum back for your trouble. So the 3 of you working together, and this is again going to be kind of a series-long thing that you're going to work on, but you're about 80 to 90% sure that if you create the same conditions that Ram created, you can change the temporal arrival of the vessel anywhere between 0 and 3 seconds. So if you want like 0.0000 infinitely 1, or if you want 2.99999 or 3 on the dot, you have 0 to 3 seconds to work with.
And this is if we
This is-
specifically make that same modification. So
Correct.
it's a do it each time thing.
Correct. And it's done when you enter. Not when you exit, it's done when you enter.
Interesting. This is definitely going into our log report to the commander. And
This is
of
probably
course,
going to a report under a security clearance.
oh, absolutely. This is going to be highest level classification that we lieutenant commanders can issue before the commander can issue a higher one. This could be a breakthrough in so many different fields. So let us compile our mutual reports, get them to the commander as soon as possible. He can send it up the chain of command, and this is most intriguing, and hopefully, temporal affairs doesn't get involved. All right, let's do
We're not
this.
time traveling. The sensors just are dealing with the distortion.
That's how we'll spin it.
Yes, that's how we'll spin it.
It's not time traveling if you bring the time you had with you to here.
I wish I could have said that a while back, but yes, let us do that. All right. So that's for however long, this is going to take, maybe a day longer. He's going to write up one of the most detailed and technical logs that anyone on the ship will have probably ever seen.
And how does the commander respond to that when they get their hands on it?
Commander's looking at it, going through the initial summary, and then going through the actual pages, then pages, and then pages, and then wondering how exactly long is this report.
Oh, don't worry, sir. I went ahead and excised the reference sheets at the back that halved the report.
This is still 128 pages.
Yes, sir, and 127 pages worth of references. I can get those to you later if you wish.
It's fine.
Would you like the schematics added on?
That's only an additional 51 pages.
Let's have the schematics as available upon request. Yeah, then the captain's going to take a look at that and say, well, I'm going to have to summarize this for everybody above me. Fantastic. But no, he's very appreciative of that information. Kind of already thinking of, well, this probably has uses in like tactical situations, certainly. In case we have to jump into someplace we know is dangerous.
Untold tactical implications, indeed.
Mm-hmm. Which certainly certain parties in the Federation are not going to like. Unfortunately, he probably does have to send a report to the Department of Temporal Investigations. This probably exceeds like a temporal threshold for how much time travel can you get involved in before they have to be involved.
Question is it cumulative or not? Stafford no longer smiling. It's just like, I will perform more studies, sir, and I will make the requisite calls.
That'd be appreciated, but undoubtedly I'm going to get involved regardless.
Well, the good news is if we ever get in trouble for not providing a report to temporal investigations, we can always get it there about 3 seconds before they ask.
Yeah. I actually read the book. Apparently their records have temporal shielding. That's because I know people would try that nonsense.
It's like that old joke about Temporal Mechanics 101 where, congratulations, you've already passed the class. You've already attended every class. Future you's got this. Make sure you show up. And then they just send you home and you're like, but wait, if I went to class, then I knew it already, but I've already passed, but I don't know. It's one of those temporal loop bullshits.
I like the one where like they point at the one guy, you failed, get out. It's the first day, you failed. But yeah, okay, well, everyone's doing that. The Commander Patent's probably got a lot of people to speak to.
Yep.
Because undoubtedly everybody's going to want to, like, pardon?
You just tell me the order. You've got admirals, you've got fleet admirals, you've got a guy in Los Angeles with the brandy. You tell me the order.
We'll do admirals and fleet admirals starting at priority of highest rank to lowest.
Okay. Then you actually get to meet the fleet admiral. So you are called down to San Francisco. You are called to Starfleet headquarters. And of course, you get that beautiful shot of the Golden Gate Bridge in the background that's been covered by solar panels. There's shuttles moving every which way. There's people on the grounds. There's holograms of Boothby tending the roses. But you're led into the main building of Starfleet headquarters. You are very quickly brought to the major, like, the top fleet admiral. Like, I can't understate, like, this is the top as high as it goes. And you are confronted with Fleet Admiral Ignitrix. Now, for anybody who is a member of my community, you already know what Ignitrix is, but for those who don't know, she is a blue-skinned woman. She has kind of feathery wings, and she has avian features as well. So instead of like full hands, they're more like talons. She floats rather than actually sits on anything. She just sort of floats places. But when you come into her office, she's already pouring a glass of your favorite liquor. Whatever your liquor favorite is, she's pouring you a glass of it. And she says, "Oh yes, Commander Paden, please come in. I've taken the liberty of looking at your file and getting you a glass of the good stuff." And she offers a drink to you.
Admiral, thank you. Take a seat. He'll also take the drink, but he won't sip at it to start with.
Okay. So she does one of those, power move things where she doesn't sit behind her desk, but rather she sits on the desk as she's talking to you. And she says, "So I think the first thing that we need to go over is that black box you've got aboard your vessel. In short, that black box is what is going to be the resonance frequency of our entire Federation transwarp network. And anytime you come to a hub, you need to impart that transwarp signature to the hub. And that's how we're going to keep the transwarp network secure, to keep others from breaking in. You cannot let anyone scan what's in that box, but you also have to plug that box in to the hub directly, if you see what I'm saying.
I do. It's in addition to the transwarp signature keys we're carrying.
Well, that is the transwarp signature keys.
I see.
And she just kind of looks at you for a little bit, sizing you up, and says, I feel like I've read your records somewhere before. Let me think. Yes, weren't you one of the first Cardassians to apply for Starfleet after the Dominion War?
The captain gets a little stiff and just nods. Yes, Admiral, I was.
Offhand, do you remember the officer you got a recommendation from?
It's been for a minute.
Well, I'll save you some time. It was me. And literally, the fleet admiral just said, yeah, I'm the one that recommended you. And she just throws that out casually because she can.
It was you, Admiral.
Well, yes. As you'll find out very quickly, I am very much in tune with the Department of Temporal Investigations. I very much have an interesting view of the timeline, if you get my meaning.
I see. I've heard of other beings that have similar perspectives.
It's like listening to 7 symphonies at once. You can never truly tune them out, but you also can't really focus on one. It's quite maddening, all things considered. But we're not here to talk about my problems. We're here to talk about your success.
I couldn't. None of this would have happened without the faith and the expertise of my crew.
Yes. Speaking of, let's see, Lieutenant Commander Ram. How do I know him? I know him from somewhere. Where do I know him from? And she's trying to put together. Was it the one Nausicaan bar fight, or was it? I'll have to ask Ram later when I see him. But no, please, Commander, you haven't touched your drink. Did I get the wrong brand?
No, I'm on duty, Admiral.
Well, the authority vested in me, yada, yada, yada. You're off duty for the next 5 minutes.
I understand. He does not take a drink.
You've learned already. Someone has told you never take a drink from the Fleet Admiral. You've learned.
He's taking the drink. He's just not taking a sip.
Fair, fair. And, seeing this happen, Ignitrix just kind of rolls her eyes and says, someone's talked to you already. Fine. Very well. Unless there's anything else, Commander, this is a rare opportunity, so I will just give it to you straight. You may ask me one question, and I will answer it in a way only a Q could. But I am not Q, let me clarify that much.
One question.
One question.
He's going to ask. He's insanely curious. What's in the black box?
Well, it's a bit maddening, but what we've done is we have contained a miniature black hole within a black hole. It is doubly linked in such a way that the two singularities are intertwined within one another. It is something so maddening that if you were to look on it directly, it would immediately cause madness and perhaps melting of your temporal lobes. That's why it's in the black box.
I see. That's not what I was going to guess.
Well, what were you going to guess?
Some form of Borg vinticulum?
Oh no, 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 no. We based our transwarp technology on the Voth. We learned our lesson with the Borg. We made some deals with the Voth and got their transwarp instead.
Sorry, one second.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's heartening to know, and I'm glad it's not the black box isn't some enormous state secret that I'm not allowed to use.
Well,
I guess I can delete those data pads now.
well, unless there's anything else, you are free to leave at your discretion.
Well, I certainly have more questions. Unfortunately, my timeline doesn't permit that. As you can imagine, everyone's show their thanks and wish me luck.
Hmm. And she actually, takes your drink back and just hands you the almost full bottle and says, "Why don't you just take the bottle for the road? I have a feeling you'll need it."
Thank you, Admiral.
Hmm. All right, let's go to someone else for a moment. Let's go to Stafford. Stafford, what are you up to while the captain is in briefing after briefing?
Well, I assume after filing any requisite paperwork and pads and everything to the various people who need them, Temporal Affairs, Admiralty, the commander again, uh, the moment he has any downtime, he's going to probably beam down planet side and just check out the academy again. It's been ages since he's been here.
Okay. Is there any particular part in the academy you want to check out, or shall I ambush you with Boothby?
Ambush me with Boothby.
All right. So you're
That
walking
sounds
around the
fun.
grounds, and you're just enjoying the sights and the sounds. When Boothby, or at least a hologram of him, says, "Son, what are you doing? No, come over here. You're going to trample the roses if you keep walking that way."
Stafford comes to a sharp stop, turns, gets a big grin on his face. Boothby, it's been so long. Walks over and puts his hand out. Do you recognize me?
And there's a momentary pause before he answers, "Well, yes, you're Lieutenant Commander Stafford. I remember you, class of..." And I don't know what your class was out of character, so whatever class you would have been a part of, that's what he tells you.
Probably about 9, 10 years earlier.
Okay.
So, yes, that is exactly me. Ah, just taking in the sights. You know, they always say you can see whales from Starfleet Academy. I was here for 4 years, never saw one.
Well, that's because you never went into the aquatics center. I mean, I could have told you that myself, and that they're not out in the bay. They're literally in Citation Ops. That building over there. And he points at a building.
You just see Stafford's face just grow long. He's like, my roommate lied to me.
Well, yeah, that's why you never trust a roommate, son. You come to Boothby, because Boothby is Starfleet Academy.
Ain't that the truth? Well, Boothby, I guess I'm going to go take a look at the whales and I guess see if any of them outrank me now.
I think quite a number of them outrank you, because you're Lieutenant Commander. I know that for a fact we have an Admiral visiting. In fact, here, you know what? I'll make an introduction for you. And he starts walking you over to Cetacean Ops.
Stafford will follow. This is exciting. He rarely ever gets to deal with cetaceans.
So to sort of paint this the scene a little bit here, when you enter into Cetacean Ops, it is basically a giant aquarium, like massive aquarium. And you're seeing all sorts of aquatic creatures. You see, of course, whales, dolphins. There's a few Zindi aquatics in there as well, and just other, aquatic-born species. But as you walk in with Boothby, one of the attendants that is on the dry side of the barrier kind of walks up and says, "Boothby, who's this?" Boothby turns and says, "This is Lieutenant Commander Stafford. I made him a promise that I'd get him to talk to a admiral." And the attendant goes, "Oh, well, let me see." And she kind of sizes you up, Stafford, and goes, "Oh, you're with the Mercury, yeah?"
Yes, I am. We just flew in and we got a little bit of downtime.
Well, I know a few people that actually would want to talk to somebody from the Mercury. Do you have a preference? Would you prefer Any rank in particular? I've got it up and down the line.
Uh, no particular rank. I want someone who's curious, if you're able to do that. I plan on talking for a long time.
Wow, in that case, let me go introduce you to Commander Dosh. And I'll put it in chat here in a moment. He is one of our foremost leading experts on transwarp technology, not just yours, but proto-warp, coaxial drive, whole 9 yards. I think Commander Dosh and you will get along famously. And here he is in chat.
Stafford will make all the requisite niceties, the salute, the, constant referral to them as commander and everything. And pretty much just for the next however long Commander Dosh is interested, he's going to
Ooh.
get his ears talked off until I'm either beamed away or they fall asleep.
Oh no, see, you've made the mistake of coming to Cetacean Ops where this is their livelihood. They love this sort of thing. So I think actually what ends up happening is from now until when you need to leave, you are going to be either in Cetacean Ops or with somebody from Cetacean Ops on Earth, unless you want to escape, in which case, I'll have you roll for an escape. But you are locked in at this point.
This is what Stafford lives for.
Love it.
Oh, this is going to be very interesting.
Cool. And I tell you what, go ahead and add a trait to your character sheet, Friend of Dosh, because that actually might come up later.
Friend of Dosh.
But moving along, let's talk to Ram. Ram, what are you doing during this downtime?
I think Ram's going to go talk to Ebsen a little bit.
Okay.
Commander Ebsen, I just wanted to have a moment to speak to you about the rudeness of our communications that we received when we arrived. I wouldn't
Of
worry
course.
too. I know obviously we found out that it's due to the temporal anomaly, but having dealt with some of those types before, you have to understand that while Earth is a wonderful place, obviously, can get a bit boring. I think having that much excitement probably put them a little bit on edge.
Oh, yes, their confusion was quite tangible. And humans are often excitable when confused.
Isn't that the truth? Still, though, your piloting was admirable. I wouldn't worry at all in your instinct in making sure that they were provided a little bit of warning of our arrival. Was certainly the right choice. I can only imagine how bad it would have gotten if we had appeared suddenly right next to them with no warning.
Thank you for your approval, though you have to admit, it would have been fun.
Oh, it would have been hilarious. Yeah, if you have the time, there's a pretty decent bar near Starfleet Academy.
The one with the domjock table or the billiards table?
The billiards. I'm not allowed back in the Domjot establishment.
I'm very familiar with the billiards one. Would you care for a game?
Absolutely.
The GM is frantically coming up with billiards rules. All right, I think I got it. So, we're going to do
Billiards
sort
with
of a
the
gentleman's
geometry nerds.
agreement here.
So first off, you're assuming that I know more about billiards besides there's stripes and solids. You try to get them in the hole, and I think you're supposed to call your shot. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, that's about 90% of what you need to know anyway, so. All right, so what this is going to be, gentleman's agreement, no spending meta currency. These are just going to be straight rolls. this is going to be one of two kinds of rolls, and I'm trying to play to both your strengths here, but this is either going to be a control plus either con or security, or if you want to risk it, a daring plus con or security. And the trade-off is if you go for daring, your complication range is 18 to 20, but if you do the control, it stays at a 20. And the goal is to see which among you gets the most number of successes.
Does Ebson's pastime being billiards come into play?
Yes, yes, it does.
All right. So what were the two roles? It was control and
either con or security.
And then or daring in the same skills?
Yes. And the difference again is that if you opt for daring, you got to bump up your complication range to 3. Or sorry, 2.
I feel like daring's more fun. It's a worse role for me, but I think it's more fun.
Sure.
Having not realized that was on your pastimes on your sheet there, I feel like I'm getting hustled.
No, if you're being hustled, I'd go for the control. No, Gensar's having fun. This is, they're not going to be upset if they lose. They're just having fun. They're gonna, if they miss, they're gonna laugh.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's see those rolls.
I actually don't know where on the sheet it says. Oh yeah, there it is. Pastimes billiards. I finally found it. All right, daring con. The complication range is
2.
2.
Mm-hmm. All right, that is 2 successes. 2 successes, both of you. Interesting. All right, I think I know how I want to adjudicate this. So, Ebson, Ram, you are both nailing your shots, and it is starting to get to the point where obviously you're having a very casual game, but it's very clear that you have skill in the game, both of you. And it's getting to the point where you're starting to draw a crowd, and like some people are actually like starting to place bets, like, hey, I got some on Ram, and other people's like, I got more on Ebson. And like there is legitimate energy in this bar as you two go at it.
I like to think that Ram is going for, trying to just take care of business and then looking over and seeing Ebson just doing a behind the back shot for funsies.
It's the different approaches. It's the serious versus the wild. That's what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to flip a coin. If I roll a 1, it is Ebson who gets to the 8 ball first. If I roll a 2, it is Ram. Ebson, you go to fire the 8 ball into the corner pocket. And then chat's complication comes into play.
Lovely. Thank you, chat. I find this hilarious.
So, Ebson, you go for another one of your fancy shots. And you do hit the 8 ball into the corner pocket, but somehow the force you put on the ball is such that the cue ball, the ball you hit, flies off the table and hits someone in the face. And as you start to go, oh, I'm sorry, everybody in the bar goes quiet because it is Fleet Admiral Ignitrix who you've hit in the face. And everybody's like, oh no. And everybody's like fearful. And whatever you and Ram are thinking, maybe you're about to be fired or you're about to be reprimanded. I think Ignitrix just slowly reaches up, pulls the ball away from her face because it got stuck there. Just looks at it and goes, man, do we need to add nets to these tables? Can you even do nets in billiards? Is that allowed?
Might make the shots a bit more difficult when you have to move the net around, but perhaps a bit safer as well.
Oh, you're just lucky I'm made of sterner stuff.
It would make the game a little more 3D. You could do some interesting banking that way. But you want next round?
Yeah, I'll take you both on.
Sounds like an excellent time.
And because I want this to be a pure image, we're going to fade to black there so nobody knows who won. That is where we will end today's session.
We never got Ziz those Zoe and Brandy cases.
Oh, we can say that happened in the background. I've made a note.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I've made a note. Cool.
Very nice.
But yeah, what'd you all think? I mean, obviously, we did do this session 0.5, but I know for some of you that was one of the rare player experiences that you had. So what did you think?
Oh, it was a blast. I had fun.
Yeah, I'm having a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
It's fun for me. I tend to be a very overly cautious person and player, so I deliberately tried to make a character that isn't, and I'm having fun with it.
Yeah. And obviously, I'm still filling out the dynamics, so don't worry about talking over one another. Part of that's my fault because I'm just so eager to play with people. I'm just like, oh, I want to enable these people. So we'll figure out the dynamic as time goes on. Cool.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the interactions, the interactivity of being able to work with Stafford and Ebsen on the new temporal anomaly we've discovered and such. That was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Absolute blast.
Yeah. All right. Well, Twitch, stick around because we're going to raid somebody, but YouTube, we'll see you later. Bye-bye, YouTube.